Hello everyone, it's Shane Kanto, your Wasteland reviewer, and I'm here to review the new Netflix animated film, SEAL Team, and this is from director Greig Cameron, and this is an animated feature about a team of SEALs who must take down the encroaching tide of some sharks that are threatening the lives of all the sea life in the area. And this film is animated, and it's like 3D computer generated animation, but it has this like specific choppiness to it. I think kind of like the Lego movie, where it's meant to be looking like Lego pieces moving and stuff like that. And I thought it was an interesting choice, and it gives it a bit of personality. And there's definitely sequences in this where it's really well animated. And there's other moments, especially when it focuses more on like outside of the ocean, it feels like it's lacking detail, and when it shows people, you can tell where it might be a little bit off. But when it's dealing with mostly these animals, it really works, and it's a fun looking film. And one of the biggest things about this film is, in many parts, it feels like a really campy 80s action movie. And I feel like this film works best when it's leaning into that. And you have action sequences, you have this great hook at the beginning where it's like the SEAL team, and you have J.K. Simmons voicing this lead SEAL with like a mustache, and Sharlto Copley, his tech guy, and you have a dolphin voiced by Dolph Lundgren named Dolph. And it's a lot of fun, and it's just cheesy and fun, and you're just like, oh, I'm going to really enjoy this film. And then it cuts to something a lot different, and you're introduced to this one character voiced by Jessie Usher, who's fine, but like he's not as interesting and fun as those characters you get introduced to early on. And him and his brother SEAL, something happens, and now he's on the wrong end of all these sharks, and he has to rope in some of these other people to help him out and fight this giant sea of sharks. And it does wander and lose steam at points throughout the film, because this is like an hour and 40-minute film, which this film feels like it should have been like an hour 25, like bam, 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 energy, craziness, bam, done. But there's definitely moments where it does try to get a little bit more emotional, but it doesn't keep the same kind of steam or interest at those moments a lot of the time. And it also has some moments where it feels a little repetitive, or it goes a little too far with like side plots. Because that's the thing too, it's definitely a mixed bag of characters. Like J.K. Simmons is like the fun, just like tough guy SEAL, and you have Patrick Warburton, who's just the weirdest character in the film, and he stands out because he's just so weird and quirky. And then you have Rhys, who's the villain, who actually does a really great job as this shark that's leading all the sharks, and there's a lot of fun there. But the lead character and a lot of the other SEALs don't really work as well. And like they have this running gag of one of the SEALs named as Seal voiced by Seal, and sings and stuff like that, and you're just like, this is just added on, tacked on ridiculousness that didn't need to be there. Like, that role wasn't essential. And it deals with a lot of like low-hanging fruit too, when it could be leaning into this like cheesy parody of like an 80s action movie. It tries to go for like easy to nail like kid jokes and stuff like that throughout, where the tone doesn't always fit. And it definitely has its hit or miss moments, this film, and there's definitely some hit or miss emotional moments. There's a couple of moments that feel like, okay, there's a little bit of emotion here, but then there's other ones where it's like they try to play it up, but then it's not earned and they undo it. And it's just like, well, then what was the point of me trying to build this emotional connection? And in the end, like, the end credits are the perfect tone of this film, and it's just cheesy awesomeness. And it's just like, if it would have kept that focus the whole film, I think I would have loved this crazy little film, but it isn't, and that's not what it winds up being. It has that sprinkled throughout, and those are the moments I enjoyed most. But in general, this is definitely one of those kinds of films where it's like very hit or miss. Things that I really enjoy, things that I'm just like, I could have done completely without. But in the end, I think SEAL Team is a silly, fun time, and I think kids will enjoy it. Parents will find enough to cherry pick out of it, but I don't think this really comes together as being like a good film. But, you know, it's a fun, easy stream on Netflix. But those are my thoughts on SEAL Team. Let me know what you think, and let's talk some movies. But thank you, as always, for tuning in and supporting your Wasteland reviewer.